Hi and welcome to another hugely exciting video, as I'm sure you'll all agree. No one will disagree with that, surely. Today I want to talk about loss of power. I think we all want speed, we all want power, we all want distance. I'm going to talk about the three things that I see that I think kill distance more than any other fault, if you like, and we'll talk a little bit about maybe cures for it as well, but also they'll be coming later on. I'm going to try and talk slower today because I get a little bit quick, so just bear with. That may not last too long. So, number one major power source, I think, in all sport, but especially golf as the ball is stationary, is when we don't move our weight backward and then consequently with the shot. So if we're moving our weight the wrong way, so we're not moving our weight onto our right side or our back foot in the backswing, and then on the way through we're having to move backward away from it, that's the same as me picking up this ball and trying to throw the ball as far as I can. If I start on my front knee or on my left foot, I could really go forward and kind of shot put it, but realistically, as I guess I'm going to say a good sportsman, I'd start on my front foot and then my brain would tell me to move backward. Now as I start forward and then move backward, immediately the same as if I was throwing a punch, if I'm moving away from my target all the time, that's a huge loss of power. So at least if we can make our weight move with the shot, the same as we would with a punch or a tennis shot, and it doesn't have to be a huge amount of weight movement, let's say, if we were just to lean on that shot, so if I just lean on that shot, as you can kind of almost hear there and probably see, that's got a huge amount of compression on the golf ball. You can hear that squash. So if I can move with the shot, that's one of the bad sources got rid of. Number two, and I see this a lot as well, and I think it's a higher handicap fault more than a good player fault, but I think you can see this in anyone's swing really. We talk about lag or holding the angle and all these kind of things, but really wrist set and wrist cock and go down the road, but if I want to lose maximum power, if I throw and lose the angle between my left or right forearm and the shaft here, I want it at a nice, as I'd say to the kids, an L shape or a 90-degree angle here. If I lose that angle early, I now have no sort of release or flick or power or rotation of that club face. It's almost as if I'm swinging it like a pendulum. And you can almost see here, there's no real power. It doesn't matter how much I really want to sort of generate speed here. If I move that there, I've only got as fast as I can sort of rotate my body with straight arms. So massive loss of power source would be if we lose this angle between forearm and shaft early. Now obviously in the downswing, we want to keep it as long as we can, and then we will lose it at the last minute. That gives us maximum power. So almost, if I stand here now and hit you a sort of straight arm, so even if I'm in a reasonable position here, and now do that, there is a limit to how much speed I can create, as you can see here. Even if I were to just keep my angle here now, almost immediately you see, even with no real backswing, again, how much more speed we can create. Pendulum, if you want to call it that, or what I would call, cannot create any real power. So if we lose that angle, that's going to kill us early. That's going to be, again, number two, bad power source. To create this nice 90, and we'll talk about it in other videos, you need your body and other things to work. You can't just chuck it in, but in a way, if you were to stand here with your feet together and just set it to a 90 and then go the other way, that would be, you can almost see that release being used there. We'll talk about release in another video. So keep tuned, subscribe, follow, watch, help me, please. And number three, this is probably, and they all interlink, so 1, 2 and 3 all help each other, unfortunately. As with everything in golf, once you start going down the wrong road, unfortunately the sequence and the if you like, spreadsheet of movements, if 1 and 2 are wrong on your spreadsheet, then odds on favourite 3, 4, 5 become wrong. If you ask my accountant, he's going to tell me that the numbers are wrong on pretty much every part of my tax return. So, stand here now. Number 3 for me. I try and stand so that I'm perfectly down the line here. Now you hear it a lot, coming over the top, hitting from the outside, coming over the ball this way. This is a surefire way to lose power. So if I'm here and I'm almost going to hit my bag, even if I kept that angle a little bit, but we do a little bit of all of it, can you see how immediately that club is very outside? Even if I made a really nice backswing, so let's say I make a reasonable backswing here, as soon as my club goes out this way, I have no sort of power with the body. I've got nothing that I can rotate other than, if you like, my shoulders to square that club up. So you can see, even if I wanted to create a lot of speed from here, again, it's kind of back and across. I always think in very simple terms. If I were to put that down and that's my target line here, and I want the club or to hit the ball on that line here, if I get the club, let's say 2 inside, and you can see I've got my 90 still, but I put the club very behind me here, my brain has to, small as it is, rotate me to get the ball. So I've got something to kind of pull with. I've got something here that my body can use. As soon as the club gets to outside, even if you hold that angle, but if you've got that club outside, can you see how there's nowhere really to go? I've got to pull the club towards me, so that means I can't really use my body in a rotational sense. So as soon as the club is out here, I'm having to pull across myself to try and create speed. Well, as we know, if I go, you can see it creates that chicken wing that we all hate. But if I had the club a little more from inside here, at least got something to fire away with. Even if we threw the club a little bit, there's a little bit more speed that way. As soon as you go, so in essence, I guess what I'm saying, in a hopefully slightly slower and less long-winded way, is that those 3 items, 1, 2 and 3, coupled together will absolutely kill any distance or any sort of speed or compression, if you like, on the ball that you can put on the ball with a good move. Not sure that makes sense, but so hopefully you can see if we couple all of those 3 movements together, we are really killing ourselves in speed terms. It doesn't matter how strong you are, it doesn't matter how physically, you know, how long your levers are and so on. If I stand here now, I don't move my weight back, I throw the club so I've got no angle here, and I come from the basket. As you see, although I've got some relative hand-eye coordination, you can see I just cannot create any speed. The silly thing is, if I were to stand here now, and hopefully you'll hear and see the difference, just take a normalish setup here. I'm not going to swing it very far, but can you see I've got my 90 in here, and I've got my weight on my back foot, and now I'm going to come from the inside. Straight away, there is a totally different sound, speed, and look to that golf swing. It doesn't matter how fast I try to move myself the wrong way. So no weight move, throw the wrist. I cannot generate anywhere near the same speed as if I just stood there, a little bit here, and fired it that way. I hope that makes sense. I think we all want power. Now remember, with great power comes great responsibility. So I'm expecting you lot to take care.